everyone, welcome to day 11 of your 21-day yoga lockdown challenge. Today we're going to be focusing on balance and just kind of testing our balance, maybe looking at postures in a different way as we usually do, and just really being aware of this element of yoga today. And this is in tune with our third eye, so our sixth chakra. I've spoke a little bit about chakras over the last few days, and don't worry if you have no idea about these, because in about 3 or 4 days I'm going to do a chakra meditation. So I will just talk through the 7 chakras individually, and then we'll do a meditation practice just so you kind of have a little bit more understanding of what they all mean. So we're going to start standing up today. So just stand anywhere on your mat, doesn't matter where, and we're just going to start to feel into the feet. So maybe just like really gentle movements. You want to have your feet about hip width distance apart, and just maybe just rocking backwards and forwards, just to kind of ground into the feet and feel the connection of the floor to the soles of your feet. Now we're going to close off the eyes, we're going to roll our shoulders down our spine, and we're going to tuck our tailbones under. So actually open your eyes for a second, I'm going to show you this. So when I say tucking our tailbone under, it's a tiny action, it's just engaging our bandhas, which was inside us, and this is what we need to tense, because it just makes our back more aligned and we therefore have better posture. So it usually, when people stand up, they'll kind of slump a little bit, and it just encourages the belly to kind of stick out, and then you get this little arch. So we just want to tuck the tailbone under, so you can use your hands as self-adjust and just feel this motion happening, and then it just gets our spine in one straight line all the way up to the sky. So that's how we should be standing. It takes a lot of practice, and we can't often forget. I always have to remind myself to tuck my tailbone under, so it doesn't just come naturally. So we'll close off the eyes again, roll our shoulders under, roll our shoulders back, tuck our tailbones under. This also should have a motion of your thighs coming up, so you're engaging them as you're tucking it under. You should feel this motion of them being lifted upwards. Hands out to the side, just hanging down naturally, and just see what this feels like. You might notice already gentle movement just from you having your eyes closed, because you have no point to fixate your eyes on and therefore hold your balance. So you can feel a little bit wobbly even in this position. Most of us actually find standing still really challenging to do. Lots of us actually find it a challenge to stand still for long periods of time, even though it seems like such a simple task. We'll just stay here for a few more moments, feeling into those last little wobbles. Do one more inhale. Bring our hands to heart center, and exhale. And then we'll all come and stand at the top of our mats. Toes touching, heels slightly apart. So we're going to inhale and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back to plank. We'll take this first one from the knees, so knees to the floor. Then we're going to lower our arms down to the mat, push up into a cobra, push back to downward facing dog. As it might be your first one of the day, we're just going to do a couple of little pedals out here, maybe waving. Then we're going to bring our right leg up to the sky, and then we're going to bring our knee to our chest and place it between our hands. And we're going to come up to a high lunge here. So already this pose does test our balance. If you bring your feet closer together, then you will find it harder, and therefore testing yourself a little bit further. The wider out they are, the easier it is because you have more stability. So we're going to take a high lunge here. Now if you'd like to take it a step further, you can come up onto the toes of that front foot and power through that front leg. Now we're going to place that heel back down, and we're going to push through the right leg and come up to knee to chest. Now we're going to come to eagle legs, which we did in our flow the other day. So bending through that right knee and then wrapping the left leg over the right, and then just wrapping it around if we can get the second bind. If not, just one hook is absolutely fine. Then unhooking that leg and flying it back, trying not to touch the floor, coming into our warrior three with our arms out in front, flexing the back foot or pointing the toes, it's completely up to you. You just want to have one straight line of power coming through from the tip of the toe to the top of the fingers. And then with control, we're going to lower to warrior two, so you need to bend through that right knee, place slowly the left leg down and opening up into a warrior two position. Arms coming out long, pushing into that front knee and gazing over the right hand. And then bring to breathe. Sometimes in postures we forget to breathe because we're too busy concentrating on getting into the posture. So always coming back to your breath. Then windmilling our hands around into a low lunge, stepping our right foot back to meet the left into a plank, lowering either knees and then down, or we're going to go chaturanga, so bending the elbows in, tucking them down, coming down slowly, upward facing dog, or cobra, and downward facing dog. We're going to test our balance here, so we're going to lift our right legs off the floor, and then we're going to see if we can lift that left arm off. So maybe come up onto the fingertips first. We want to power, we don't want to have open hips, we want to have square hips. So that leg coming up, and then fingertips first, and then maybe testing, seeing if you can raise that for a couple of seconds. Remembering to breathe still. And lower down. And now we'll do the other side. So lifting that left leg up into the air, flexing that foot, keeping the hips square, and then maybe coming up onto the fingertips of the right hand, and then maybe seeing if we can raise it off for a few seconds. And lower that down. And then maybe just give those hips a little wiggle. And then we'll bend the knees, step walk or float to the top, and then coming up to standing. So now we've got the other leg to do, so toes touching, heels slightly apart, inhale, exhale, forward fold, inhale, halfway lift, remembering we can always modify to the shins or bring them down to the floor if they reach. Now left leg goes back, left and right back to plank, and then knees, chest, chin or chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Now we're bringing our left foot through into our high lunge. Again, this might be enough. If you'd like to take it further, we can test the balance more and come up onto the toes of that front foot. Remembering not to flare out the hips, we still want to have our tummy tucked and arms up to the sky. Feeling really strong and powerful in this posture. Now lowering that heel back down to the floor, firing through this left leg and bringing our knee to chest, arms come up tall. Then bending through that left leg and wrapping the right leg over into our eagle legs and sitting down into that chair. Then unravelling, try not to place the foot down and flying straight back into our warrior three. Again, flexed or pointed toes, then have one long line coming all the way through from the tiptoe to the top of the fingers. Then bending that left knee and with control coming back into our warrior two. So again, pushing into this front knee, tummy tucked under, arms coming out long, gazing over that left hand. We're milling our hands to a low lunge, stepping back into a plank. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. And downward facing dog. Again, we're going to test the balance, so lifting the right leg off the mat. Left arm off the mat. And lower. Left leg off the mat. And right arm off the mat. Maybe finding one leg a lot easier than the other, just seeing how you feel. And lower. And then we'll just take a child's pose for a few moments. Then we'll come up to a downward facing dog. Step walk or jump to the front. Bring your hands up, head and neck coming last. So now we're going to come to Tadasana again, so toes touching, heels slightly apart. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Step or jump back to plank. Then we'll lower, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, upward facing dog, or cobra, and downward facing dog. Bring that right knee forward into our high lunge. Again, maybe lifting that heel off. Then lowering it, pushing up into our standing knee to chest pose. Now we're going to come to a tree, so I'll face you. So try not to put the leg on the floor first, just either bringing our foot to, this is exactly the same, it's just a modified tree pose, so maybe that's where you are today, or just below the knee or above the knee. Just make sure you don't put it on the knee, because it's not very good for us. And bringing our hands to heart center. And then maybe bringing them up. Bringing our focus on one point in front of us. This will help us maintain our balance. Oh, my foot is slipping. Then maybe leaning over to the left and centre, and then to the right. If you fall out, just come back in, absolutely fine. And then back to centre. Now we're just going to move the hook of our foot. So we're just going to slot it. It needs to just come over our right knee, and we're coming into a standing pigeon. So we just squat down into that right leg. If you have any knee pain, then just come out of it and just meet us back when we're out of the pose. And then we're just going to open our arms out long and squat back into those hips. You should feel the stretch in your left hip flexor. Then we're going to slowly come up and we're going to shoot that leg back into a warrior three. I've just switched around sides so you can see me. Then with control, bending through the right leg and stepping back into a warrior two pose. Gazing over that right arm. Then roll the hands to a low lunge, step back to plank. Then we'll go knees, chest, chin or chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. And we're going to bend through the knees, step, walk or jump to the top of the mat, and then come up, head and neck coming last. So now we've got the other side to do. So also it's good to see if you find one side relatively easier than the other, because we usually all have one leg a little bit stronger than the other because we're all a little bit out of balance. So it's interesting to bring your awareness to this. So this time, arms up to the sky, forward fold, halfway lift, jump back to plank or step, lower knees, chest, chin or chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Now our left foot is coming between our hands into our high lunge, then maybe coming up onto the tiptoes of that front foot, testing our balance here, and lower, firing through that front knee, front leg, and pushing up into knee to chest pose. I'm going to face you so you can see again, and then we're going to come to tree. So remember, either to here, here or here, but not on the knee. Bring hands to heart center first, actually. Whoops. Then grow your trees nice and tall. My leggings are super slippy. Then maybe leading to the left and to the right and centre, and then again just moving that foot across the left knee and coming into our standing pigeon pose. So arms coming to chest or having them out long. And coming back up, and then I'm just going to turn so you can see. Then we're just going to float that right leg back into our warrior threes. And then with control, step back into our warrior twos. Bring all the hands to the front, low lunge, step back to plank, lower knees, chest, chin or chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. And then we'll just come and rest in child's pose for a few moments. What's interesting about balancing postures is that the quieter our mind is, the easier it is to balance, because if we're standing in a balancing posture and your mind's just going crazy thinking about everything, you're never ever going to be able to balance for a very long period of time at all. So as soon as we learn to quiet the mind, and what you'll realise is when you are standing in these balancing postures, your mind should naturally quieten because you are just focusing on holding your body in that position. So that's why if you focus on one point in front of you, your drishti, then this is having all your attention. So your mind should slow down a little bit. But again, this all comes with practice, and the first few times you might be like, that's not happening for me. But over time, you will come to find balancing a lot more easier. Now we'll all come to a downward facing dog, and we'll bend the knees and jump to the top of the mat, and then just come up, head and neck coming last. So now we're going to sit down in our chairs, so bending through the knees, coming into this deep chair position. Again, remembering to tuck the tailbone under. Now we're going to come to eagle legs like this. So we're going to wrap around that right over the left. It might have been easier to do from this position because you're already squatting down. Now we're going to unravel. We're going to shoot that leg back through our warrior threes. Then we're going to bring our left hand either to the mat, or if you've got a block or a bottle, then you can use this just to raise the mat higher for you, so you can reach without having to bend the knee. Firing through that back leg, flexing the toes, and then opening up your arm to the sky into half moon pose. If this is enough for you, then stay here, and if you fall back out, just come straight back in. If you want to go further, you can bend that top leg and try and grab it with the right hand, and then push into that, into sugar cane. Now lowering that right hand to the mat, maybe making a little bend in the left knee so that you can actually touch the mat with your hands. And then we're going to do a little scissor kick and just land exact with the other leg down, so literally just switching the leg. So it can be a big scissor kick or just a little one, however you like to do it. Landing on the other leg. Then we're going to open up into half moon on the right side. So again, either having a block or anything to raise that hand a little bit higher for you. And then opening up that left arm. Whoops. All the way up to the sky. Flexing that back foot out. Then either staying here if this is enough for you today, or if you have the mobility, you can bend that left knee and then catch it with the left hand and come into our sugarcane posture. And then we're coming back to our eagle leg, so bending through that right knee until the right hand can come off without putting the left hand on the floor, squatting down into that leg, hucking the left leg over the top, maybe getting the second bind, and coming up into our eagle posture. Now unraveling and just sitting into our chairs. So we've done a complete mandala flow there. And then just come up to standing. Well done. Some of those postures are quite tricky, and especially when you do it as a sequence and a flow. So if you were falling out a lot, then that's absolutely fine. Still engaging the muscles and building up the muscle memory, so next time you do it, it should be a little bit easier. So now we're going to do a few more balancing holds before coming to rest down on the mat. So first of all, we're all going to shoot our right leg out in front of us. So we can have it bent, or actually I'd like you all to try and have it out straight. So this is pointing the toe. You might need to bend into this leg to get that one to go out straight, and that's fine. And arms up to the sky. Now we're going to come into a dancer, but an active dancer. So we're going to fly that right leg back and our arms back, pointing through that toe. And usually where we catch it, it'd be easier to push up, but here we're not going to. We're just going to have the arms coming back and the toe coming back, the right leg coming back. It could just be here, but I want you to really feel this and getting a slight back bend in this position, and just shining your heart forward, having proud chests, and then back out in front, and then again coming back into this active dancer, and then forward, and then one last time, and then lower. Now we're going to do the other leg. So again, left leg coming out forward, maybe bending through that right knee to get it out in front. Now we'll come back into our active dancer. And again. And back. One last time. Forward. And back. And lower. Well done. Right, now we're going to do some little bunny hops. So this is testing our balance from a completely different way. So we've been testing our balance through our legs, and now we're going to be testing through our arms. So your bunny hops might just look like this, and that's fine. But I want you to really feel kind of the shift of weight coming into the hands. So we're going to plant them firmly on the mat, and we're going to take 5 bunny hops. So we'll bend through the knees and we'll jump up, and you just want to tuck your knees into your bum. So just really testing the feeling of balancing on your hands and what that feels like. So if you focus on, like we said in Justy before, focus on one point on your mat between your hands, and this will help you. And then just come to our knees. We'll just come and sit on our bums. When you've done your 5, that is, so no one not doing their 5. Now we'll come to our boat posture. And we're going to rock backwards and forwards, and we're going to try and hold our boats in the middle. So as you rock back, rocking forward, and just seeing if you can get that, you can feel the balance in your core. You can really feel your core engaging, and this is what allows you to not go too far forward and feet touch the floor, or sailing from side to side. So we'll do this a few times. And then just hold our boats, hug our knees in, and then we'll just shoot our legs out long, and we'll just come into a seated forward fold, seeing as we've done a lot of work in our legs. We just want to open up those hamstrings a little bit before coming into our final relaxation. So you're more than welcome to bend the knees if that enables you to be able to clasp the 2 toes, your peace fingers, and then just use this to pull against. So if your knees are bent, you just look like this. I don't want anyone to be rounding. I want everyone's spine to be nice and long, and your heart's shining forward. So inhaling to elongate, and exhale to stretch deeper. Using the breath to edge deeper into this posture. And then slowly coming up, and then we're going to make our way down to the mat. So I want you all to have your arms out nice and long, and I don't want any of you beating me down to the mat, so we'll lower. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well done, everyone. Right, maybe just giving everything a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a wiggle, wiggling those hips from side to side, just really feeling into our mats now. And taking a well-deserved Shavasana. So toes falling out to the side, palms facing upwards, shoulders rolling down, chin tucking to the chest a little bit. Closing off the eyes, releasing any tension still being held in the muscles. And just bring your awareness to your breath. I'm going to start to close at the practice, but if you'd like to stay here longer, then please do. Just press pause and then just carry on when you're ready. So we'll start to bring awareness back to our fingers and our toes. Maybe looking from left to right, left to right. Hugging those knees into the chest. Maybe tucking our chin into our bodies. And then falling over to the side. Then pushing up to a seated or kneeling position, whatever is more comfy for you right now. Keeping the eyes closed, rolling the shoulders down the back. We'll take one last releasing breath, so inhale and exhale. Namaste. Thank you again for flowing with me. I hope you enjoyed playing around with a little bit of balance today. So enjoy the rest of your days, and I'll see you guys on the mat tomorrow. Bye.